Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. Hi, my name is JF Tvierge. I'm the Director of Product Management here at CINC, and we're very excited to introduce you today a new major improvement we've made to our Agent Launchpad, which is called Prospecting, which is really designed to simplify your daily workflow. With me today, we've got Tamara Ward, who's our Senior Client Training Specialist. She will help us guide us today through our working session a bit later after this short presentation. And we also have Sarah Astrakhan from my product team. She's a product manager with us, also on the CRM team, and she'll be helping us answering all your questions. So take on the chat or the question box, send us your questions, and we'll answer them as best as we can. But we're looking forward to have that conversation with you and presenting to you our new prospecting tab. And most likely, a lot of you already seen it since it's been live since yesterday. Sorry. And well, we're looking forward to have everyone on it. So today, we'll be going over that launchpad I just talked about. We'll go over some of the key enhancements that we've made. Then we'll be introducing you to our prospecting tab. Really, it's been built to solve your common challenges. We'll have a live demo from Tamara showing us the Agent Launchpad, not only prospecting, but the best practices to do now that we have a couple of those tabs now ready for you guys. And we'll be answering your question all along, and I'll be coming back at the end just to showcase a bit preview of Sync You for those of you that can join next week, where you can sign up. So, so that we start, I think one of the biggest challenges that we've seen agents do on a day-to-day is really knowing who to prioritize and which lead to prioritize, right? We know that like 50% of high interest leads never get a call. It's kind of half of your of leads coming in that are really slipping through the cracks. So, and conversations with you agents all across the country, since I got here also is learning from you that, it's kind of hard to know which lead to call. You could have missed an inquiry that came in either through notification, contact requested. The system sometimes can be complicated. So with all these challenges in mind, we really ask ourselves how we can make it easier for you to prioritize your high value activities and complete your lead follow-up efficiently. So with that being said, we had in mind and came up with the prospecting. That's where prospecting comes in our Agent Launchpad. So what we what we what we want you to be really aware of is how to use the prospecting tab and how to use our Agent Launchpad actually, where we're designing this tab to be able to have in mind that you're able to know exactly who you need to call today. So instead of going through a long list of filtering all those leads on the leads dashboard, prospecting really consolidates most of your leads activity in one single view, and it really surfaces all the leads that are actively engaged and are ready for you to call. So now let's take a look though, just over the past year, how we've evolved this Agent Launchpad. As you can see, we have a lot of tabs now, but it took us quite some time to come up with this new improvement. And for that, I take you back just maybe a year and a half ago. This is what it used to look like, your Agent Launchpad. So we had in mind just an original plan was to primarily just show you your reminders and what you needed to do with a small excerpt of, maybe who you needed to call. But that was not always very efficient for you to be able to call your lead. So we've we've managed to streamline the process. We managed to combine all the activities that we think and we know that you should be doing in a day. And so that redesign would really transform the Launchpad in one simple stop hub where you can manage all your activity of prospecting, to follow-ups with your reminders, to contact requested, and your trending leads. So just going back a bit about some of the tabs that we have today, for contact requested, for example, we created that tab for you to showcase you the hand raisers that are on your site right now. It surfaces those leads. They are actively requesting for you to call them up and ensuring that they're not being overlooked. So it really is signal for you that these leads want to be contacted and you need to be contacting them today. So instead of going through your notification, trying to find them out on the website, on the CRM, we've brought in them for you got all up and center so that you can see them and through all their activities. So either they have a property inquiries, they're having their AI agent ready, you can find them right here. And we've put up also this nice red tab here. So that tells you how many you've got that you should be calling, right? So if you see 99 plus, you're running behind. You got to do it. So I got to do a better job of calling my leads when they're requesting to be called. Next up during the year, we came up with trending leads, right? So this is beyond the inquiries, beyond direct inquiries we've seen with contact requested. Trending leads, it really is showing your leads. They have a strong engagement signals on the site. So for example, leads might have multiple views, listing on at the multiple times on the website. They could be sharing listing. They have got some safe search. Those are all activities that we think are important for you to be notified of and be aware of, so that when that leads jumps into contact requested, you already know about them. You already have a heads up on what they've been doing. So this is really a clear signal, indicates that the lead is actively considering some options. Surfacing those leads in the trending leads platform, really, it gives you the opportunity maybe to call them up, right? So now that being said, moment of truth for today is we're presenting to you now the new tab that we call prospecting, right? So a major point that we wanted to eliminate through our process is for you to go and manually sort all these leads and, really trying to find which one to call today and which one our new either to the site. I've been dormant for a couple of days, but I've recently registered, for example. So in the past, really wanted to shift all these filters to one good space so that everybody knew what was going on. So the prospecting tab is really where we can say that we're doing the job for you. We're bringing up those leads for you to call today. And out of these prospecting issues that we're bringing up to you, we've got our three major tabs. P filters actually that come up from our playbook, our success playbook, which are the P1s, really are the new leads that are coming in and really need to be called. Then you get your P3s and P2s and P3s. Also our leads that are fairly new, attempt to contact, still really on the website, doing some activities, but you haven't contacted yet, so you haven't had the ability to get in touch. So having these all set up in one space really brings them up to your attention, and then can start your day on the right foot. All right, so now that we've seen all this, the best part now is coming up, where Tamara here will be showing you a live demo of exactly how to use our best practices to use our agent platform, Agent Launchpad, through prospecting, the lead reminders, contact requested, and of course track your leads through trending leads. With that being said,
Awesome. I
thank
will
you.
take over, but thank you for kind of giving the overview. I definitely want to give kind of a round of applause for Sarah, JF, their team. They've put a lot of work into getting this Agent Launchpad up and running and the prospecting tab. So very excited to show you guys kind of best practices with using it. So my name's Tamara again. I'm a training specialist, senior trainer specialist here at CINC. I'm also the training coordinator. So for those of you who are attending CINC U, you've probably been emailing me to get registered and signed up. So excited to kind of take a deeper dive into our Agent Launchpad, how to work the Agent Launchpad, but more importantly, how to really work this prospecting tab. So I'm actually going to share my screen. Um, and JF and Sarah, if you can just confirm, am I sharing my screen okay? Perfect. I have forgotten to share it or click the wrong screen, so I always like to confirm. So before I actually jump into how to work the Agent Launchpad, if you only have a couple minutes in your day to make some phone calls, work some leads, I do want to really highlight the important best practice that we really advocate, which is the importance, if you're not already doing this, to time block. So similar to if you're, trying to get fit and you have a gym membership, if you have a gym membership and you're paying for a gym membership, but you don't actually block out time to go to the gym, well, you're probably not going to see those results that you're hoping for. And that's kind of the same with Sync. You have all of these leads, but if you're not working those leads, you might not be seeing that success and that conversion that you were hoping to get to. So one of the number one things that I always encourage as a trainer is the importance of time blocking. Whether that's 30 minutes, 5 days a week, whether, you do have the time to commit 2 hours, 5 days a week, whatever time you can commit to, try your best at least 5 days a week to block out some time, and designate that time for prospecting and lead follow up. And we do have some sync suggestions when it comes to how much time based on the time you've spent with sync, and how long you've been with us, because that definitely could impact the amount of leads that you might have in your database. But time blocking is really the key to success. In my 7 years here, the agents, the teams that I've worked with that are always the most successful, they've always been the agents and teams that are just doing a little bit of work every day. Every day they do a little dialing. Every day they do a little bit of lead follow up, but they're managing their database. They're staying on top of their leads, and they are the ones that tend to see that increased conversion. So, number one thing, make sure you are blocking out that time. And where I do encourage your designating that time now moving forward is going to be your agent level launch pad. So for those of you who have been with Sync, who have gone through our Sync training, you might be familiar with our leads dashboard and our save filters drop down. In the past, all of our best practices, our suggested daily workflow, always lived in the save filters drop down. And I'll be honest, sometimes it doesn't really stand out. You don't always think to click save filters. Well, we're taking our P prospecting filters that you might be familiar with and our F follow up filters, and we've put them all in one place with all of the other important notifications that you need to be paying attention to throughout your day, right in that agent level launchpad. So your agent level launchpad is really designed to be your one-stop shop for everything you need to do in your day. Now, a couple of things I want to make sure you're aware of. Broker level users, when you log in and when you navigate to your leads dashboard, you've always been defaulted to seeing all of the leads in the system, regardless of the agent they're assigned to, regardless if they're assigned to you or a pond account. The agent launchpad is for your personal leads. So if you are a broker level user and you are working leads alongside your team, this is going to give you a place to really focus in on what you might need to do outside of that team accountability. So broker level users, you're going to be defaulted to seeing just your leads in your agent launchpad to kind of give you that clearer picture. Now, you will also see, if you are working out of a pond account, you will see leads that are assigned to a pond account, and that is the same view for agent level users. Currently, if you're an agent user, you have leads assigned to you as well as pond leads that you might be working out of. You're going to see both leads kind of when working your agent level launchpad, but you'll see those pond leads are going to be clearly marked and identified. So you can always kind of quickly tell the difference if you need to. Now, the first thing I want to show is right when you go to your agent launchpad, you're immediately taken to our P1 new lead filter. So some of you might be familiar with what P1 is. Some of you, this might be the first time you're hearing about this, but P1 is our prospecting one filter. And this is just going to house any lead that you have been personally assigned to that has not yet had a dial made to them. Our system hasn't recognized that you or an agent on the team has attempted that personal phone call. So, one of our best practices that we've always advocated is the importance of speed to lead. If you get a new lead, you want to be reaching out to your newest leads in those first 5 minutes of receiving a notification alongside the automations that are going out. Dialing leads at that point of registration, it drastically increases the chance of getting someone to pick up your phone call. So you want to be dialing these new leads as soon as you possibly can throughout your workday. But if you can't always call every new lead right away. You want to be still dialing these new leads by the end of each day. So if you can't call them right away, I encourage that you're time blocking and you check your P1 filter first at the beginning of every day and at least one more time at the end of every day. And your goal should be to empty your P1 filter, to call your new leads, reach out to those new leads, and clear this list. Now, a lead will immediately fall out of P1 once that pipeline is updated past that new lead stage. So let's say I gave Corey a call and I reached out to Corey and maybe I got a conversation with Corey, maybe I didn't. If you click a lead's name, it immediately will open up the lead's profile right from here. And you can always manually update a lead from new to attempted contact or update that pipeline stage right from here. Now I'll show you the second that pipeline is updated. When I hit refresh, this little refresh button on my prospecting P1 filter, Corey falls out. Corey is no longer being recognized as a lead that I haven't at least tried to dial. Now, you can always manually update that pipeline, but I do encourage if you're not already calling from our sync system, you really want to be doing that moving forward through either our sync agent app or through our sync dialer. So if you haven't downloaded our sync agent app, this is free. It comes with your platform. You're going to log in using your username and email and same password that you use to log into the system. Now, if you have the dialer, you can also be placing calls through the dialer. If you're not sure what the dialer is or want to learn more about it, it is an additional cost to a platform. For every 3 users, it is an additional $75. But I encourage connect with your account manager. Reach out if you're interested in learning more about the dialer. We also have several help articles in our help center regarding what the dialer is, how to use it. But moving forward, whenever you get a new lead, you do get a separate text message notification that alerts you, hey, you have a brand new lead. But if you're picking up your cell phone, clicking that text notification and calling outside of the app or the dialer, our system's not going to recognize that phone call and it's not going to document anything for you. So you want to make sure you are placing those calls from our app or through the dialer moving forward. And it just saves you so much time. The first thing calling from the app does, it updates that pipeline from new to attempt to contact. So the second you make a phone call, it's going to empty out your P1 filter for you. It's going to recognize this person's not new. We've tried that phone call. Calling from the app or the dialer also just documents a call note. So it documents that you called the lead at this time on this date. It timestamps when that phone call was made, and that timestamp is actually going to play a big role as we continue talking about this Agent Launchpad and best practices. And it also is going to track how many times you've tried calling someone. So P1 is always where I want you to start your workday, and your goal should be at the end of every day and throughout your day, you want to be continuously emptying P1, reaching out to those new leads. So your goal for P1 is to keep it empty at all times if possible. Now, I'm about to talk about our other prospecting filters right here, but I also want to quickly highlight contact requested because like your P1 leads that you're immediately seeing that we want to reach out to and dial as soon as we can, we also want to be reaching out to our contact requested leads within those first first 5 minutes of notification as well. Your contact requested leads, and JF touched on this, these are your hand raisers. If a lead is in here, these are leads that have genuinely engaged with the site, or they've actually clicked a button kind of requesting agent contact or wanting more information about something. Some of the types of leads that you'll see in contact requested will, one, be if you're using Alex, our AI assistant, any lead that has actually been marked by Alex, the assistant, as being AI agent ready, which means not only has the person been talking to Alex, but in the conversation with Alex, the AI, they've either indicated that they're ready to talk to someone. They maybe said something like, I want to talk to an agent at 3 o'clock on Monday, or Alex has really recognized everything they're wanting in a home. Alex has discovered, the why, the what they're looking for, the where, their situation. Now, if you are getting cash offer leads and using our cash offer feature, you will also see those leads in here. But you'll also see home pulse inquiries. So home pulse is our home evaluation report that goes to your seller leads. A home pulse inquiry is a seller lead wanting more information. They've been looking at that home evaluation report, the home pulse report, and they clicked a button indicating, I want to know how quickly I can connect with buyers. I want to know more about my home evaluation and talk to an agent. And then you'll also see property inquiries, buyers just wanting more information on a home, as well as possible showing requests. They actually clicked a button indicating that they're interested in seeing a home and have actually picked a preferred date to possibly go see it. Now you'll see if a lead's in contact requested, they're defaulted under the status awaiting a response. So they're waiting to hear from us. So our goal in contact requested should be to prioritize these leads with the P1 new leads. Let's call these leads as soon as we get that notification, as soon as we see that little red indicator showing us that someone's there. And let's reach out to these leads. Let's take care of those requests. And at the end of the day, you want to be treating contact requested like a checklist. You want to cross these leads off the list and kind of empty the section at the end of each day if possible. Now, to get a lead out of here, if you click the three dots next to a lead card, you on that right-hand corner, you get two options. You can mark the request as acted on. You also have just the option to dismiss something altogether. The goal should really be to act on these requests. And you'll see when I do that for Mike right here, it's going to immediately remove that contact requested card. Now, an example of when you maybe dismiss something, maybe I go to reach out to Mike and maybe I open up his profile and maybe his contact information's all invalid. Maybe I couldn't reach out to that lead. Or sometimes you might see a lead who did the same thing twice. Maybe you've already talked to Mike about that property and he did the same action a separate time on a different date. Well, that could be another example of when you might dismiss something. But your goal should be to, reach out to these leads in here, kind of follow up. And when you feel like you've taken care of it, empty out that section. So just like P1 that you want to empty, you also want to try your best to empty contact requested as well. Now, on occasion, you might keep a lead in contact requested. Maybe somebody did request a showing. You give them a call, they didn't answer, and you want to try that person again tomorrow. So that could be an example, but best practice, we want to be trying to empty that each day. So P1, contact requested, check those sections throughout your day, reach out to those leads in those first 5 minutes of notification. And if you can't do it right away, make sure you're checking in at the end of each day and emptying those two sections. Now, the rest of your prospecting time is really going to be divided between our next two filters right here. P2, call again, and then P3, call active. Your second part of prospecting is your P2, call these leads again filter. If a lead is in here, and you'll actually notice there's a little description. So if you forget, you can always kind of refer back to the description in this dropdown to help remind you. But leads that are in P2 are attempted contacts. You did attempt to make that phone call, but we still haven't actually gotten a conversation with the lead. We haven't really gotten the person to pick up. We haven't really learned, their situation or what they're looking for. But out of all of the attempted contacts that can pile up over the years, the only ones that will ever be in P2, every single one of these leads registered on the site within the last 14 days. So these are leads that are less than 2 weeks old. They were on your site looking at homes, browsing properties within the last 14 days, the last 2 weeks. We keep these leads in here for 2 weeks. As a reminder, like its title, let's call them again and let's stay persistent with them. One of the number one reasons we really created this particular filter, it is actually because of an MIT study that was conducted. And I'm going to pull up a little slide from this MIT study. But MIT did a study really looking at, when you call someone, what are things you can do to increase the chance they answer? And one of the number one things they discovered was the importance of dialing, the importance of staying persistent. And that's really what that top graph is showing. Do not be discouraged the first time you try a lead if they don't always pick up the first time you try them. They're seeing a name, they're seeing a number they might not instantly recognize. People are nervous in today's world to pick up numbers they don't know. Statistically, some people might not even pick up that second or third time. 80% pick up on the fifth attempt, 90% on that sixth try. It can take persistence to get that conversation. One of the biggest mistake agents make, though, is they're not dialing. They're not being persistent. Some agents never call. If they call, they maybe try a lead once, maybe twice, and then they completely give up. Where we know sometimes it can take that persistence to get those conversations. So with P2, we're encouraging just stay persistent with these leads for 14 days. The worst case scenario is maybe I do that with Corey here. Maybe I dial Corey and I dial his phone number and reach out. Maybe a handful of times the first week Corey was on the site. Maybe I even dial that number another several times that second week. The worst case scenario is I did that. I dialed that number. It took me less than a minute a day to make a dial. And when Corey hits 15 days of registration is older than that 2 week period, worst case scenario is on day 15. I still never got a conversation with Corey. On day 15, Corey's naturally going to fall out of this P2 filter. All right, I tried for 14 days. I stayed persistent. I never got that conversation. The best case scenario, though, is you do get that conversation. And now this is hopefully a lead we're going to be able to really start moving forward with. And I'm going to talk about the importance of follow up and how to follow up when we get to our reminders tabs of our Agent Launchpad in just a little bit. Now, on my training site that I have up, I only have a handful of leads in here, but there could be a day where you have 20 people in here, 40 people in here. You might not always be able to call every person every day for 14 days straight. So, as a best practice, we do encourage if you can call all of your attempted contacts every day over the course of those first 14 days, of course, do that. But we all have lives, things come up. You might not always be able to do that. So, this particular filter, P2, is always going to be sorted by your last phone call attempt. And the leads that have been called least recently are always going to be at the top of this list. So notice Corey, I actually have never called him according to my call info column. And then as I go down, I called Lottie 13 days ago, Sherwin Williams 11 days ago, George 6 days ago, and Macy 1 day ago, John 6 hours ago. So, my goal for you is if you can dial everyone on this list every day, do so. But if you can't, I want you to always start at the top of the list each day and redial these leads from the top, working your way down. If you placed a brand new phone call to Corey right now through the CINC app or the CINC dialer, it is immediately going to update that timestamp to say you just called this person right now. And if you were to refresh this page, Corey would drop to the bottom of the list because now he's the person you called most recently. And I'm going to just manually demonstrate that by documenting a quick call note. So again, calling from the app where the dialer will immediately update these things. You don't have to go back and do it. But I'm just going to quickly mark that I did make a phone call to Corey, and I want to show you what happens. When I hit refresh, Corey's going to drop to the bottom of this list. It's going to update that timestamp. And now look, Corey's down here because I just called him now. So my goal for you, if you can't always call everyone on this list each and every day, I want you to start at the top, work your way down, dial those leads from the dialer or the app, get to where you can for the day. But what I would more encourage is set up a last phone call goal for either yourself individually as an agent or for your entire team. And normally, what I really encourage is if you can't always call everyone uh, every day, try your best to never let that phone call for this first 14-day period exceed 2 or 3 days. Never let it hit a 4-day marker or beyond. You never want to have a lead who registered 14 days ago, and the last time they were called was also 14 days ago. I also encourage you, when a lead is about to fall out, if you're on day 15, the total calls made should be a minimum of 6. You should have at least dialed that lead at least 6 times, if not more. And that's your P2 filter. Stay persistent with your leads. Call your new leads in P1 and stay persistent with those attempted contacts until you either get the conversation or at least for those first 14 days. Let's kind of try those leads again. Now, your final prospecting filter is going to be P3, call active. If a lead's in P3, and you can always kind of reference that description, these are leads that are still attempted contacts. We still haven't gotten a conversation with them, but these are leads that are older than that 2-week period. So they have at least hit 15 days of registration, but they've actively logged back into your site. So these are older leads coming back. Now, on my P3 list, you can see towards the bottom, if you do have a lot of leads in these filters, you can quickly navigate through various pages of leads, kind of using the page options at the bottom. But, ideally, if you can call every lead in this list every day, that's great. But again, realistically, that might not always be something you can always do. So your P3 leads for that reason, instead of focusing on that last phone call attempt, I want you to be prioritizing the last login. The leads that were on your site most recently are always going to be the leads at the top of this list. And you want to make sure you're redialing leads like Sam. If I open up Sam's profile by clicking his name, and I go to his info tab, Sam signed up over a year ago, 493 days ago, but actively was on the site 2 hours ago. Sometimes with internet leads, when they first register, weeks ago, months ago, years ago, and you suddenly see them coming back, usually it can be a good indicator that when they first signed up, they weren't ready to make a move. They were just browsing. But now when you see they're suddenly at the top of this list coming back, it is a huge indicator that now is when they're ready to take those next steps. Now is when they need an agent's assistant and help. So again, ideally, try to call all of these leads in your P3 list. But if you can't call everyone every day, let's focus on that last login and let's make sure we're redialing those older leads who most recently logged back in. Now, as you're dialing through your app and the dialer, you can always kind of hit the refresh to kind of keep freshening up your page, clearing out leads. But I do want to show you this actions drop down. If you are using our CINC dialer and you want to call your P1 list, your P2 list, and activate it to the dialer, you can queue your dialer from here. So if you click this actions drop down, there's an option that says start dialer campaign. And if you click on that, it is actually going to take this list and direct you to this list right in your leads dashboard. And for those of you who are using the dialer, you can queue it the same way. I can then select my current search. And once I see they're selected, I can open up my globe icon, navigate to the dialer tab, put in my preferred dialer settings, and when ready, click Start Dialer Campaign to start calling those leads. So you can queue the dialer. One thing that I do want to highlight if you are a broker and you do click Start Dialer Campaign from the Launchpad, when you get brought to your leads dashboard, you are going to be defaulted back to all leads, regardless of the assigned agent. Under your view drop down, you always have the ability to click see only my leads to be taken back to just your list, or view only pond leads. That will also be there for agents with pond access. So if you are an agent, you only want to see your leads or you only want to see pond leads, under that view option, you always have that option. Now, to navigate back to the Launchpad, you can always click Launchpad and then the agent section, or you can just
Uh,
click your back arrow.
T Tamara, can you show the how you get them into the dialer again? We got someone in chat asking to see that again.
Yes, so I'll re-show kind of from that Agent Launchpad. So when you go to any of your list, if you click the actions drop down and then start dialer campaign, it redirects that same exact list right into the leads dashboard. And then you would select your list. And then you can open up the little globe icon in that right-hand corner. And you're always going to have an activity tab, but the dialer tab is right here. So you would put in your preferred settings, and there's a little start dialer campaign option right there that would start dialing those leads. And if you guys do want to learn more about the dialer, never forget our help center. I'm going to point out some resources, and you're going to get some follow-up help articles and a follow-up email about the Launchpad and the prospecting tab. But if you do go to help and you click Sync Help Center and then view the help center, if you go to the key search bar up at the top and type in keywords like dialer, we have tons of dialer resources, but this one right here, how to use the dialer, has everything about the dialer. What is the dialer? How much does the dialer cost? There's a little video. I apologize in advance. It's my voice again. So how to use the dialer. So just know tons of resources. So if you didn't even know there was a dialer and want to kind of just look into it, just know there's tons of great resources right in that help center. Awesome. So that is your prospecting. So P1, check that throughout the day. Contact requested is part of your prospecting. You should be dialing those leads, reaching out to those leads, but then make sure you're also navigating to P2 and P3 and working those lists as well throughout your day. Now, I want to show you, and I'm going to go to my P2 list as an example. If you contact a lead, we need to get them out of the prospecting filters. So one thing that we do consider is a true contacted lead is when you have officially gotten all or at least the majority of what we call the lead's 5 whys. So a contacted lead isn't always you talk to someone and they said, "Oh, I can't talk right now." That wasn't a conversation. That's still someone we need to continue to reach out to and prospect to, even if they said, I'm just looking right now and they hung up the phone. That's really not a good contacted lead. A true contacted lead is you've kind of developed a relationship with that person. You've learned who they are. You've started to really uncover what they're looking for, where they're looking, when are they looking to make a move, as well as that why. Why were they on our site? What are they? What's making them want to make a move and what's their kind of motivation behind making that move. So when you've really gotten that conversation, when you update that pipeline to contacted, notice with Lottie, when I mark her as contacted and I refresh P2, Lottie's going to fall off that list immediately. I don't need to keep dialing Lottie. I already got the conversation. I need to follow up with that lead. So one of the number one things we've always encouraged, your contacted leads are your most important leads in your database. And when you mark a lead as contacted, you want to make sure you are immediately setting a personal reminder on that lead to remind yourself, when do you personally want to check in with that lead next, beyond the automated stuff that they might be getting. In a leads profile from your Launchpad, you can quickly set a reminder right here in this reminders and plans section. And there's a little add reminder section. And when you open it up, you can decide how do you want to follow up. You can title your reminder, put in some details for yourself, and then you can put a date. So let's say, just as an example, I talked to Sherwin today. I do want to call him again. He did let me know he's not actively looking, but I want to make sure I'm staying on top of him. I want to make sure I'm touching base with him every once in a while, because if I'm the agent doing that, every once in a while, just saying, "Hey, I know you're not looking, but I thought of you today. I hope you're doing great." It is almost a guaranteed way of making sure when Sherwin needs an agent, when he is ready, who's he going to think about? Who's he going to come running back to when he is ready? So I'm going to remind myself to maybe call this lead. Now, realistically, I might say I want to call, in a couple weeks. But for training today, so we see where these reminders show up, I'm going to say I'm going to call him today, just so you see where this populates. And then you can always set different times for your reminders to populate into the system. The time you set is really your personal preference. If you do want to kind of be notified throughout the day, you can always set different times. Some agents I work with, they just like to set every reminder for the time they start their day. So if they start their day at 8 o'clock, they want to just have every reminder ready for them first thing, 8 o'clock in the morning. And you can also pick any time, which defaults to 12 midnight. It's just going to kind of populate the reminder in the system at midnight the day it's due. And you can even pick and choose how you're notified and the times you're notified. So I'm going to save this on Sherwin. I'm going to call him later today. When I save the reminder, and again, I'm going to refresh P2. You see, Sherwin fell off. I had a conversation with him. But when it's time to complete that reminder, you're going to see those reminders that are due in your lead reminder section. So these are my contacted leads that I need to follow up with. So I wanted to give David a call and Danielle a call, and it looked like I wanted to call Sherwin today. When you have completed that action, you want to treat your lead reminders like a to-do list. So after I call David, I want to check that off my list for the day. Once I've reached out to Daniel, I also want to check that list off the day. Now, if you click on the reminder, it will open up the leads profile. And you'll see that action of checking it marks it as complete in the leads profile. Now, as a best practice, we do encourage after you do touch base with someone and follow up with them, you might want to be thinking about, when's that next time you want to check in. So maybe I did talk with Daniel today. In my conversation, I learned he is closer to a year out. He's not actively ready to start seeing homes, but I want to make sure I'm kind of touching base with him. I want to make sure I'm sending a friendly hello every once in a while. So when he's ready, he thinks of me and he comes back. So beyond the automations, I'm going to add another reminder. And I'm going to say I'm going to give Daniel maybe another phone call, or you can always put him in a different category and change that title. But I'm going to give him another call. And I'm just going to check in. I'll leave some details for myself. I'm just going to say hi, ask how things are going, let him know I'm here if he needs anything. And I'll reach back out maybe mid-March, March 11th. I'm just going to send a friendly hello to Daniel. When I save that reminder, but complete the one that was due today, you'll see Daniel already fell off my lead reminders list. My favorite thing, I'm not going to see Daniel again until March 11th. On March 11th, when that next reminder is due, he's going to pop right back in that lead reminder section to remind me to complete that action. So lead reminders, treat it like a checklist, just like contact requested in your P1 in your prospecting tab. We want to empty it. Now, deal reminders is specific to reminders you're setting on your CINC deals or properties you're moving forward with. So maybe you have a listing and you need to schedule an inspection, or you have a buyer making a move to a home and you need to schedule an inspection. So deal reminders are reminders specific to properties and your CINC deals. And then after you take care of your prospecting, your contact requested leads, and your follow-up, your reminders for the day, the final thing to be checking is those trending leads. So trending leads aren't necessarily hand raisers, but they, again, like JF mentioned, are leads that have shown some noteworthy activity on the site. So this is a great place to kind of end the day. If you have some extra time, these are leads that have recently claimed a home on Home Post. They're frequently visiting the site. They have high favorites or high property views. They're using the mortgage calculator and are trying to see if they can afford a home. So these are great leads to maybe give a little extra love to if you have time throughout your day. Now, trending leads you can't empty. You can't cross these leads off the list, but this is going to kind of run as an activity log, but you can sort these leads by your last phone call attempt. So if you just want to pull the leads you've called least recently up to the top, you can do that. Or you can just see, hey, who's had the most recent activity? And that is really how we're going to encourage you really working your Agent Launchpad, working your system to really help make sure no good lead kind of slips through the cracks, making sure we're keeping up with those contacted leads, prospecting to those attempted contacts and new leads that come in. And again, my number one thing that I encourage is time block. If you block out 30 minutes a day to start going through this, you're going to be setting yourself up for some long-term success. You don't want to do the, oh, I'll start tomorrow. Oh, I'll start tomorrow, because that's when things get harder. So if you start time blocking and start going through this, um, this is going to be just daily maintenance. Now, this is going to be sent in our follow-up email. So we did record this webinar. Our marketing team is going to be sending a follow-up email with today's recording if you want to go back and re-listen to it. But they're also going to have some attachments. They're going to have links to our Help Center articles over the Launchpad and the prospecting, the Agent Launchpad and the prospecting tab. But we're also going to have our CINC daily money plays attached to that follow-up email. But I want to make sure you already know how to navigate to this on your own. So after this training, if you're ready to time block, you see it's almost 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and you're ready to start making those dials. If you click on your help button, I already pointed out we have our help center here. We have our live training events here, but we do have our CINC Success Playbook. If you click that CINC Success Playbook option and then navigate to the playbook, you'll see our CINC Success Playbook. You can see the whole playbook. You can also see it by section, but I want to point out our 3 daily money plays. That is going to take you to almost kind of a step-by-step guide of what you should be doing each day. It talks about our different pipelines, when to be moving leads to the next pipeline stage, talks about the importance of making those dials, some tips, best times to prospect, the importance of calling from the dialer in the app. But it also gives you, what is my favorite part, a little checklist. If you're working your Agent Launchpad, what you should be doing. Prioritize contact requested leads and new leads. Try to reach out to those new leads in those first 5 minutes of notification. But then it talks about, well, check contact requested. Check your prospecting tab P1. P2 talks about what those filters are, how they're sorted, the goals to set in those filters. There's even a little description. What should you be documenting in the system after you get a conversation? And then it also goes over the importance of that follow-up. And then we even have some built-in scripts in here as well. So if you're just kind of wanting to know what to say, you can access all of that in our daily money plays guide under your help button in that CINC Success Playbook section. And the last thing that I'm going to point out is if you're on the go, all of this is in your app. So when you log into your CINC Agent app and you go to your agent level Launchpad, first thing you see is contact requested. You have those same 3 dots. You can be calling your leads, emailing, texting your leads right from here. But when you click on those 3 dots in the app, you get the option to dismiss it, mark it as acted on, so you can be clearing contact requested throughout your day. And then you'll see your call filters. Currently in the app, you see P1 and F1. But if you click see all saved filters, that line, that actually takes you to the full list. You'll see P1, P2, P3, and then you'll have your reminders. And then you'll also see trending leads at the bottom. So you'll also have those trending leads. So every part of this you can be doing throughout your day right from your phone. Awesome. Well, that is all I have. Hopefully I didn't overwhelm you guys.
We have a
but
question on the daily money plays
Mhm.
guides. Where else can I find these daily money plays guides?
Yes, so the best place, it is going to be emailed out. So it will be emailed as a PDF, but right now the best place is going to be the Help Center and then CINC Success Playbook. And I can put this link actually just right in the webinar chat. So if you guys just want to go ahead and grab it and download it, I'll just take that link real quick and I'll send that in the webinar chat real quick. So it's coming your way. So that link that I just sent to everyone is our daily money plays, and it's a PDF, so you can print it off or save it. Awesome. And the past recordings, I just saw someone ask about the past recordings. This webinar is going to be emailed out. If you ever do want to see some of our previous past recordings, if you go to the help button and then click live team events, there are live webinars that you can always sign up to join at any time that our live training team hosts, but we do have a recording gallery. So if you go to the very bottom of that page, there is a recording gallery of some other previous recorded trainings.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Tamara, for this great class. Thank you, Sarah, also for answering these questions.
Thank you guys for everyone who joined.